Hey everybody, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another episode of Lunch with Norm, the rise of the micro brands.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
Okay, so today I'm joined with the co-founder of Sponsored Profit, Darrell Patterson, and I should be completely transparent about this. I am a partner in Sponsored Profit, but all we're doing is providing knowledge and education. So if you want to use the service, that's one thing. We're not promoting it. Okay, so Darrell is a PPC wizard, and we're going to deep dive into the world of Amazon sponsored ads. So what happened in Prime Day, what it's going to look like moving forward for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. All right, where is my son?
Hello.
Okay, so before you do anything, you've got to post that link from Saturday Night Live about the father and son podcast. We'll put that in here. It was absolutely hilarious, and I think we need the father son podcast set like they showed on Saturday Night Live.
All right, I'll get right on it. I think our audience will enjoy it. I don't know if you saw, but I've been posting a couple Lunch with Norm memes on the page. So yeah, I'll keep up with that. But getting back to our brand new Facebook page right here, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and eCommerce Collective. It's brand new. We started it, I think, about 2 weeks ago. So we're still looking for members. We're going to be talking about different topics with online sellers and Amazon FBA sellers. So beginner, intermediate, advanced, there's something for everyone. We're going to get the guests from the show onto the group too, and have different conversations. So super exciting. I'll put the link right here. Just give it a second. So this link right here is to the Facebook group. So sign up. Yeah. And
post in the group, you know.
Yes, yeah. We like to see conversation.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, Kels, I don't know if you noticed, but I am drinking from my birthday gift.
That's a nice.
Both sides. The other side says, "What the hell's a bell?" That's very good. And Kels, look, it just arrived.
Wow, we got you all merched up.
You got me all merched up. Yep, exactly. So that was an awesome birthday gift. Thank you, sons.
And for those watching, I can see we got some viewers already. Go ahead and throw in where you're watching from and say hi. I'd like to know who's watching. And yeah, follow us on social media. And I don't want to make this too long, but yeah.
Right. Okay, so the other thing, just, if you are joining us, we are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you are watching a replay, just skip ahead. And if you're on my personal Facebook page, go over to the fan page, which is Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy. You'll see a lot more information about the whole episode, as well as highlights and other content. And if you have any questions, throw them over in the content area. Other than that, sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy the show. Now, where is Mr. Darrell?
Hey, Norm. How are we doing?
Hey, how are you, sir?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
So what is the weather like in the UK today?
I was just about to say I'm a bit chilly, actually. I've just let the dog out, so I just had the door open and it's freezing in there.
Yeah, you should feel it here. I just noticed Angie from Tampa. I used to have a company in Tampa. I love Tampa. Anyways, I wish I was there because it's very cold here. So, hey, Darrell, before we get started with today's episode, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your background? And your background.
Yeah, so I'm ex-military. Left the Royal Navy and started contracting, fixing helicopters and aeroplanes. got sick of traveling around the world and living out of a suitcase in hotels. It sounds great, but it wears a bit thin after a while. So I started looking into other ways I could, obviously pay the bills and be at home with the family more. And that's when I come across Amazon. That was back in 2014. So I built up and scaled my own brand on Amazon. Always had a problem with PPC. Tried pretty much every agency tool software out there, and never really had much success. So I've doubled down and really tried to get deep into PPC and really understand it. And that's where Sponsored Profit came from. We started running ads for ourselves and a few friends, and then other friends started asking if we could help out, and we kind of built a business out of that, and that's where we are now. So this is all I do now, just manage PPC campaigns for larger sellers, so the larger sellers for the agency, but we also built Sponsored Profit as a way to help the smaller establishing and growing brands.
Right.
And pretty much a full-on PPC geek, and that's all I spend my time doing.
I didn't know you were in the Navy.
Yeah, I was just under 10 years in the Royal Navy. Yeah.
Wow, I was an artillery guy, but anyways, I could never figure out why people wanted to go on the water. Anyway, that's a whole other podcast. I was just trying to think of some insults I can give, but no.
I'm sure there's plenty. No.
So hey, look, we just passed Prime Day. I can tell you for myself, for my brands, I was very disappointed, and I can also I can tell you another thing, which shocked me, was Amazon, when they talked about the success of Prime Day. Well, look at the numbers, look at the stats. 65%.
Doesn't add up.
65% of sales on Amazon this year were through Amazon-owned products. Amazon-owned products, right? So 35% was left for us. But I don't know about you, like across the board, what did it look like for you? Or was it just me? Maybe I did something wrong.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It was disappointing. Generally, I think previous Prime Days have been amazing, right? It's outside of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then the mad rush up to Christmas. Prime Day has been the day of the year for most brands. This year, I think there's lots of reasons why it was very different, but very flat. I think on average, certainly the accounts we manage saw 50 to 100% increase, which is pretty disappointing, right? Especially given even last Prime Day, our average increase was between 3x and 4x.
Well, what about did you see a difference from day to day, the first day to the second day?
The first day, so the Tuesday on, again, this is on the accounts that we manage, was better than the Wednesday. It was almost like the Wednesday dropped off again for most accounts. So it was maybe 30% up on a normal day, but only half the increase of the first day. It was very strange. I obviously blocked everything else out my calendar for those couple of days, and the day before and the day after, to make sure we tried to maximize all the accounts. And I was getting frustrated at times. It was like there's nothing happening here.
You and me both.
It was crazy.
Yeah. So, and I have heard some, but very few, really just killing it. People have people like you said. Yeah, maybe you doubled your sales. But what it used to be like, I just didn't see it. And I'm wondering, so I'm going out on a limb here, anybody who's listening, just, take it for what it's worth. But I'm wondering if you could take Prime Day as another leading economic indicator. you got car sales, you got or house sales, maybe Prime Day. How is it? Maybe that should be the read on the economy. How many people are buying? I don't know.
I think I think the whole inventory issue has played a big part. I think it's obviously because of
Not for
COVID
Amazon,
and the situation. Not for Amazon, but in terms of that, you're saying those numbers 65-35. I mean, only a year ago we were talking about third party sellers were still outgrowing Amazon's own sales, right?
though.
We were, I think it was 55% was third party sales, and only 45% was Amazon. The difference is if Amazon are controlling how much inventory people can send in, or people are struggling to get hold of inventory, it kind of makes sense that their sales would be up, right? They're never going to
Yeah.
run out of stock or limit the amount of inventory they can
Or
hold.
receiving, 3 weeks into it, or I mean, it's so
Exactly.
unpredictable right now. And yeah, you could throw it on COVID, and like we've got a bunch of new products. First of all, it's harder to list. Second of all, you've got to have a pretty good strategy to get around and bump those sales up, which we're doing with rebates and PPC. But if you took a look, hindsight, is there anything that you could provide for our listeners that they might have looked at differently, that they might be able to apply to Black Friday sales coming up? And I don't think Black Friday sales are going to be horrible. I think they're going to be fairly bang on, like they were as long as we can get the inventory systems in place, and you can sell. That's the problem. Amazon, let us sell.
I think the biggest difference between this Prime Day and a normal Prime Day is the fact that it is so close to Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
We're only, what are we now, 4 weeks away?
Yeah, it was 4 weeks.
So yeah, I think the fact that it is so close. I mean, we kind of touched on this the last time we spoke, right? It was, how's it going to pan out? It's either going to be great and it's going to be an awesome start to Q4, or it's going to flop because it's too close to the holidays. And yeah, I think it's the second option. All these inventory and COVID issues aside, I think it's just too close. I think people are starting to go back to work. There's a lot of uncertainty. People are potentially holding out, I guess, for to get all those typical quarter 4 sales in time for the holidays, but waiting closer to Christmas. Right. I think that's my take on it. We did have a couple of really good successes, and we'll talk about them in a bit. But in terms of what to take away from Prime Day, having gone through all the accounts post Prime Day, there's a lot of people searching for gifts already, right? The people that aren't waiting, the people that were on Amazon shopping. So taking all those gift related search terms from your search term reports and either adding them to your campaigns or building holiday specific campaigns that you can switch off after the holidays around those converting terms. And we've done this every year, and it's massive, right? There's hundreds of, if not thousands of different ways people search for gifts for him, gifts for her, gifts for dad, gifts for brother. Like there's tons of that type of keyword that have got loads of search volume at these high traffic times, but you need to identify which ones work for your products and which don't, right? You can not necessarily waste, but you can spend a whole ton of cash testing all these type keywords on these high traffic days. Well, we've just had one, right? And it's really close to Black Friday, so not a lot's going to change between now and then. I think taking really getting deep into that data and making the most of it, in the week or two ahead of Black Friday, will make a huge difference. I think something out of the campaigns that have done really well over Prime Day around 20 to 25% of total sales were from non-product specific keywords. So, things like stocking stuffers and, like I said, these gift type keywords. So, yeah, there's a lot of traffic on those, but you don't want to just be blanket testing all that stuff on a high traffic day. If you've already got that information from your Prime Day accounts, then use that going forward over the next few weeks into Black Friday.
What type of sponsored ad, sponsor brand accounts are working right now, or campaigns are working right now?
So the accounts that absolutely smashed it on Prime Day, they had a few things in common. So one was that they had Prime Day deals, had Prime exclusive deals. I know that's been a big challenge for a lot of sellers as well, because the short time frame between Prime Day being announced and having to get those deals submitted and set up in time for Prime Day. I know we were talking to someone only last week, Norm, that didn't even get that memo. Like, by the time they realised it was Prime Day, it was too late. Like, those deals had already closed. It was a really short window. Whereas normally you have they go out a couple of months beforehand, right? And they start selecting who they're going to run for these promos. So the ones that did have those Prime exclusive deals typically done really well. In terms of ad types, I think the biggest performer from our point of view was sponsored display. I know for people listening, if you're not brand registered, chances are you don't have access to sponsored display. But sponsored display product targeting, which is the newer version, sponsored display has been around for a while, right? Which is kind of the baby version of DSP. It's like the only way we can use within the advertising console to target sellers off of Amazon. And that's based on people who have viewed your product pages or similar product pages but haven't purchased. Fairly recently, they introduced product targeting for sponsored display, which used to be the old type product targeting for vendors, where you've got the placement below the buy box, right? So people have always wondered how to get that. It used to typically only be for vendors. Well, now we've got the ability to have that ad position and also the ad position below the bullet points through sponsored display, and a whole host of others, but they're the two main positions because they're above the fold on a product detail page, right? That's the only two things other than the actual product. So what we found with Prime Day, and obviously the huge uptake in traffic, and the fact that all the coupons, so if it's a Prime exclusive deal or it's a Black Friday deal, a Lightning deal, even a coupon or a discount, like all of those, the little banners, the little orange banners, or the Prime Day was blue, but you got those little coupon promotion things that actually show up in the ads. So if you're advertised on a product that doesn't have those kind of discounts, obviously the shopper's eyes are drawn to those coupons. So sponsored display on products that were already high traffic items. So I'm just thinking of one particular example. We had a specific ASIN that happened to be number one in the whole of the sports and outdoors category, and we managed to take the ad position right beneath the bullet points, with a small coupon, and excuse me, I think it done something like 300 units in less than 2 hours off that product listing. So that's not the entire sales. That's just one ASIN in a product display campaign that we were targeting that happened to be bestseller in the entire sports and outdoors category, which obviously on a day like Prime Day is huge. So we took that information and then started targeting all of the other high traffic products that were not similar but complementary type products. So I think one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're doing any kind of product targeting is that they only look at the same type of products. So if you're selling a silicone spatula, typically people try and target their direct competitors. What we found was a really powerful strategy on Prime Day was targeting complementary type products, the same kind of audience, but not the same product. So you're not competing directly then. So, review count doesn't become as important. Price doesn't become as important. It's just getting eyeballs on your product listing. So yeah, targeting other complementary high traffic products that already got bestseller badges, or they're high up in the rankings in their top level category that's complementary to your products, you can get a lot of traffic. Like I said, this one particular example, I think it was like 300 units in less than a couple of hours, in addition to all the other products we were targeting, but this one in particular stood out. So yeah, it's a bit labor intensive in terms of you've got to go and find these complementary type products that are already ranked highly and getting lots of traffic. But if you can, you're just piggybacking off their success essentially.
Yeah. And so some of the, like, for an example, let's say that you're selling HDMI cables. So the HDMI cables, where else, you think, where else can you find a complementary product? Well, gaming systems, TVs, basically anything that you can use in HDMI cable, and you just kind of slip it in there. The other thing you can do with that, outside of what you're talking about, you can target those with bundles, with virtual bundles. So that's another way to get some extra traffic there. Or if you can, depending on what the cost is, get that frequently bought together spot. But kind of keeping it on PPC. So what are your top three, like, going into Black Friday right now? If you had 3 types of campaigns that you'd be targeting, what would they be?
Auto campaigns are massively effective on these high traffic days.
Okay, so let's stop there.
Yep.
Auto campaigns. There's probably a whole bunch of people rolling their eyes saying auto campaigns don't work. So just explain that.
I completely disagree.
I thought you'd say that.
Yeah.
Okay, and why?
So auto campaigns historically we've literally just used for research purposes, right? It was starting out a new product. Mm-hmm. You turn on an auto campaign, and you gather those search terms, make sure Amazon knows what your listing and your product's all about, and then build on that data from there, right? Even Amazon's own PPC university, says run an auto campaign, then take the converting terms and turn them into manual campaigns. We're finding now that we can drive more traffic and more sales in most cases, not all cases, but a lot of cases now from auto campaigns. We're using it as a growth strategy now, not just as a research tool. I think the big change, which isn't particularly new, it's been around a while, but the fact that you've got the 4 different match types in auto campaigns now. So you've got the close and loose match, which are keyword search term related, and then you've got the substitutes and complements, which are ASIN related. So we've started splitting those out now into their own, so 1 match type per campaign, and giving them their own budget, and then we can scale them up and optimize them at a more granular level. So previously, where the old autos, you would pull a search term report and you'd have tons of ASINs, right? They were just spending your budget and never converting, and there's nothing you could do about it. There was 1,000,001 theories on, you can negative phrase match an ASIN and it'll stop it showing. Didn't work. You can take the brand name or try and find the keywords that it's triggering. Just nothing worked, right? But now Amazon allow us to add negative ASINs into our auto campaigns, which has been an absolute game changer. And particularly, we've been doing this really intensively now for maybe the last 6 months, and it's totally changed so many accounts. You've still got to go through the testing process, right? You've got to identify what doesn't convert, add those negatives, let Amazon go and find a whole bunch more, until you get to a point where you've got, more converting terms or ASINs than you have non-converting, and they're all negative. But once you get to that point, then it's just turn the tap up, right? You just keep cranking up that budget, and we've seen sales go crazy on some of these auto campaigns now, just because we can be that much more aggressive with our bid and our budgets, because we can really optimize at a much more granular level based on each particular match type. So auto campaigns, whether people like them or loathe them, I know a lot of people that go, my auto campaign used to do great, and now it's 100% Acos, so I switched it off. Well, don't switch it off. Just optimize it more frequently. Optimize it better and give it time. Right? You don't need to lose a ton of money during that process. If budgets are tight, keep the budget low, but keep it going and just optimize over time until you get to a point where you can really start to scale up the bids and the budgets, because there's literally millions of products on Amazon, right? There's no way that I've got quite a good process for keyword research and ASIN research and competitor research, but there's no way I can find all of these products. I think the last stat I read was there's something like 3,000 new seller accounts registered in the US alone every single day on Amazon. So these are all new people with potentially competing products or similar products, complementary products to yours. There's no way you can keep on top of that. Amazon does a great job of finding these products for us, right? Finding these newer listings that we've got 1,000 reviews and they've come on, they're brand new, they've only got 2 or 3 reviews. We can target those products and just it sounds a bit brutal, but we can just dominate all of those new sellers that come in. So Amazon's given us those new search terms. They've given us those ASINs that we can then go and specifically target with our product targeting campaigns and our display campaigns, take up all the real estate on their product listings. Makes it very difficult for new sellers when you've got people going after you like that. But auto campaigns are a great way for really expanding your reach.
Yeah. So when you're looking at those automatic campaigns, especially for new sellers, it might be either intimidating or you just don't understand the 4 different types of campaigns. If you understand one thing, is the negative ASINs. Just do that, and you're going to see, instead of turning off your automatic campaigns, that will make the biggest difference. So that's number
Absolutely.
1. That's number 1. What's number 2?
Are we talking newer sellers or bigger sellers here? There's two very different.
Let's go for the non-brand registered. What tip would you give? For the brand registered, what tip would you give?
Okay, so non-brand registered. Mm-hmm. So we're limited to sponsored products, right? So in addition to the auto campaigns, which we just discussed, broad, phrase, and exact, all 3 match types, but 80-20 everything. Right? Don't try and advertise your entire product catalog. If you've got 5 products and you're especially if you've got a limited budget, focus on the product that's got the best conversion. 1 or 2 products. Focus your efforts there, especially on these high traffic days. So 80-20 your products, 80-20 your keywords. Look back at your, depending on how long you've been selling, if you've only got 30, 60 days worth of data, then obviously use that. But if you've been selling for a year or 2, use as much historical data as possible. Identify the keywords that drive the majority of your sales and focus on them. Like, we literally do this process with all our accounts on these type days. It's not time for testing, right? It's a time for making money, right? We want to make profit out at the end of the day as well, not just sales. So really focusing in on the keywords that drive the most traffic for you, the most conversions for you, at an affordable ACOS as well. It's no good, running a keyword at 100% ACOS and losing money on every sale, especially on these high traffic days. You're just going to lose more. So really focusing on what's really driving sales and profitable sales, and then you can be more confident in scaling up your budget for these days as well, right? So anything that's just got clicks and no sales history at all, just pause all of that stuff. Don't even attempt to do anything with it. 80-20 on your keyword campaigns.
That sounds great. You came up with something that said 100% ACOS. Okay. So what are your feelings if you're running high, let's say, and I don't mean you high, if you were running high cost, high ACOS, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100% ACOS, and you're experimenting and broadening your keyword research. Are you for that or against it? You want me to rephrase it?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so I have a lot of people that try to stick within 20 to 30% ACOS. They think that's great. I think they're leaving money on the table because they might not be aggressive enough. So what I like to see is if I'm running 20 to 30% ACOS and I'm in that zone, and to go really wide, find some other keywords that I might be able to run, test, and get the data on, and then break out those campaigns. So now you're going really wide on your keywords. It might cost you more. It might look like it's costing you more, but Darrell, you know this. We've seen this where we've taken somebody who's had I'm not sure if it was 70 or 80% ACOS, still kept it at around 54, and every week their overall or their tacos came down. And I think as long as that's happening, then you're on track.
It's a different strategy, right? So
it's a scary strategy to some.
So yeah, there's multiple strategies, right? And absolutely, particularly when we're starting with a brand, we want to grow campaigns, right? We want to grow their business. That's why we run PPC, right? So yeah, we were talking specifically about Prime Day leading into Black Friday. Absolutely, you want to be maximizing the profitability and the keywords that are performing. Outside of that window, 100%, we're always testing new keywords. Every single week, we're adding new stuff, and we wouldn't necessarily try and get those, as you said, get those keywords to break even instantly. Over time, we want to get those keywords to break even or even profitable. But when we're testing, we're just trying to find more and more long tail ways that people search for our product to build out the campaigns. There is always a time and a place for running high ACOS, but at a keyword level, not necessarily at a campaign level, right? Yeah. If we're trying to push for rank, we're trying to boost our sales velocity on a particular keyword to try and improve our organic ranking, then the chances are running at break even or profitability is unlikely to generate enough sales volume to have that impact on organic rank. So in those scenarios, we would run it 80, 90, 100% ACOS. For these high traffic days, they're the keywords that you want to be really careful with, because for sure. if they're high volume and high ACOS on a normal day,
that's a whole different story.
Totally different story.
Yeah, but and we've seen it. So this is still on. It could cover both new, intermediate, expert, but we've seen it where a product's just about ready to turn over. We're right in the zone, but the person gets spooked off. Their ROAS is increasing. Their ACOS is decreasing, their total ACOS is decreasing. Yet they're still fairly high, and they want us to hold off on a campaign. And it kills me when I see that happen, because hold out another month, hold out another 2 months, listen to the agency. I mean, if it's the opposite, then that's a whole different story, unless there's strategy behind it. But let's go over to the. Oh, go ahead, Darrell.
I was just going to say, yeah, we call it the Acos Trap, right? It's people get fixated on their Acos, and it's not the most important metric to measure, right? If you're just looking to make profit, if you're comfortable where your business is and you're not looking to grow, and you're just looking to extract maximum profit, or you're a brand positioning to sell and you want to get that profitability up, absolutely, you want to drive that Acos down, because you are essentially showing more profit in the business there and then. But as a longer term growth strategy, you need to be looking at your total Acos, right? It's the impact that your ad spend is having on your total business, and that doesn't happen overnight, right? It takes time. But if you're spending, I don't know, let's say you're doing $100,000 in sales a month, and you're spending $10,000 on ads, your total Acos, your tacos is only 10%. If you've only got $20,000 of your sales from PPC, well, your Acos is 50%, right? So people are always looking to try and just drive that 50% down to, like you said, 20 to 30%, but they're still only spending 10% of their overall revenue. So that's perfectly normal for any business, right? 10% of revenue invested in marketing. So if that number is staying steady, it doesn't matter what the Acos is, essentially. If your total sales are growing at a faster rate than your Acos, then you're in a good position, right? You're actually making more money than if you dial it down to try and get it to 20 to 30%, and you're driving less volume, less velocity through your keywords, and your organic rank starts to slip, and ultimately that sales follow, and then your total Acos actually starts to go up again. So yeah, it's a fine balance, but yeah, total Acos is the number that we prefer to measure, with our partners, rather than just focusing on Acos.
So, Kels, before we get into the questions, let's Darrell, can you answer the other side of the question for the brand registered?
So sponsored display.
Simple, right?
100%. Sponsored display product targeting is massively underutilized, is evolving pretty much week to week at the moment. There's, I think, 10 different ad positions now. And back in the day, it was on with Vendor Central, it was only the one main ad position, right, under the buy box. Now there's I think there's 10 different ad positions now. But particularly with ASIN and category targeting, it's just vast, right? It's you can test literally hundreds of ASINs at a time and quickly optimize those campaigns. And it's ASINs, right? There's no emotion in the keywords. Like, I know people tend to get attached to, oh, that's my main keyword, or I've got to run this keyword at a high Acos. When it's just ASINs, it's just data, and they're really easy to optimize, but they perform so much better than pretty much any other ad. I think the only other kind of less utilized ad type I would highly suggest for the bigger sellers is video ads.
Right.
They're getting more competitive. They are getting more competitive as more people are finding out about them, but the click-through rate and the conversion rate on those ads is ridiculous compared to a sponsored product ad or any other sponsored brand ad. So if you've got video, get an ad up, check the requirements, but they don't even have to be, we've seen some ads that are literally filmed with an iPhone, right? And they're only 20 seconds, but it's just it's new, right? A lot of people still haven't seen video ads, which I've spoken to a lot of people who are like, oh, I haven't even seen them, which is quite funny because there's still a lot of categories that don't have any videos running, any brands running video ads. And that's only going to get more and more exposure. I think there'll be more ad placements for videos. talk of video ads actually showing up on product detail pages, which would be huge. But yeah, it's interruptive advertising, right? You think of Facebook ads when it's an auto-playing video, it catches people's attention and it stands out. All the other sponsored brand and sponsored display placements are all static. So video is the only, the most engaging ad type that there is out there. In terms of spend, like I said, it is getting more competitive and some of the cost per clicks are a bit higher. So in terms of reach and what I think has the most potential, I would say sponsored display ads, product targeting ads. In terms of engagement and conversion, video ads, if you're not already running them. Those two things for me have been massive this last few months, comparatively in growth terms. Not necessarily in terms of volume. It still might only account for 20% of overall sales, but in growth terms, they're really taking off.
Okay, Kelsey.
Hello. Just to let you know that we have to end the show around like 10 minutes. We'll have to start wrapping up for Darrell. Sure. we do have a couple questions from Yarrow. You kind of touched on a couple of them already, but first off, is product display ads getting more expensive for you as well recently?
Not product targeting. I think obviously with Prime Day over the last couple of weeks, Amazon does a really good job of going out to sellers and telling people to 2x, 3x their bids and their budgets on everything. And rightly or wrongly, a lot of people do, and that obviously pushes the price up. But we're finding that we're actually getting much better Acos, ROAS, whichever way you want to measure it, on product display ads, sponsored display ads. Like, yeah, there's more people competing. You've just got to be on top of your optimization, right? If you're running too hot, especially with async targeting, there's no need to, right? You bid what you can afford at your break even, or even if you're pushing for profit. But there's so many products out there to target. There's really no need to get hung up on any particular one, unless you've got a specific competitor that you're really gunning for and you're really going after. Yeah, just keep testing, just keep adding more targets. There is literally thousands to cycle through until you build up this big pot of asins that you convert well on at an affordable cost. But yeah, in terms of average price, yeah, I haven't seen any increase. In fact, I've probably seen, on average, from a performance, relative to keywords, they actually perform better at a better price.
Okay, great. And just to let the listeners know, we do have a little giveaway that we're handing out at the end for one lucky guest. So please stay till the end of the video to find out what that is. And let's see, our second one. What about video ads? What is your recent experience? Which video is working better?
So even things like unboxing videos, right? Which typical influencer type videos,
social
lifestyle
proof
videos, yeah, just anything of the product being used, right? I always look at a video and think, treat your video the same way as you would treat your product listing, right? If you're putting together enhanced brand content, or you're just putting together the copy for your bullet points, like, what are you trying to get across to your buyer, right? How's it going to make their life better? Try and convey that in your video. If that's how people convert on a product listing, right? They see the images and they picture themselves using that product and what it's going to do for them.
Yeah.
Hit their pain points. How is it going to make their life better? So if you've taken the time to build out, a good product listing and you've got a good conversion rate, you already know those pain points, right? give that to your video guy and get the video created around those pain points so that someone can instantly relate to it.
Yeah. Now, just on that for a second, if you do have a brand ambassador, or if you do have an influencer that loves your product, you could probably reach out to them, and they'll do something like that for you for free. So whip out the iPhone, and people. It doesn't have like you don't have to hire people to do a professional product video. Candid videos are, like you were saying, are just as good. But if you do, like we've had Rob Burns on talking about product videos. They don't have to be expensive either. When he's talking, they're $400, $500, $600, for a professionally done video. And you can go on to Animoto and do a video. There's all sorts of ways of doing it for fairly cheap. Now, Kelsey, I saw Nathan Clark.
Yes.
Now this was above Yarrow. I had a statement, or was it a question?
Oh, okay. So first of all, he said his Prime Day was terrible.
Sorry to hear that.
And
join the club.
He's saying,
you're not alone, Nathan.
If I ever get targeted like that, I'm going to have a family member buy their product and leave a 1-star review with photos. But he does have a question. His question.
I wouldn't recommend that.
And his question is: does the amount of reviews a listing have determined what PPC strategy to use?
Yes and no. I think if you, I'm a great believer of using Amazon's own data, right? Amazon's got way more data points than we'll ever have. And Amazon suggests not to run ads at all on products with less than 15 reviews. That's their own advice, 3.5 stars plus and at least 15 reviews. So typically when we're starting out with a new product, we would like to at least a handful of reviews before we start doing anything too aggressive with ads, just from a conversion perspective. I think the way to look at reviews and PPC is look at your competitors, right? Look at the keywords that you're looking to target. How would your ad position sat amongst those? You've got those top 4 spots, assuming that's where you're aiming for. What does your review count look like relative to your competitors? If all your competitors have only got 20 reviews, then you've got 7. It's not that big a deal, right? You can go there and compete. But if you've got 7 reviews and everyone else has got over 1,000 reviews, you're going to struggle from a conversion perspective, unless you've got something else to sweeten the deal, like a really heavily discounted price or a big coupon, or there's something more valuable to them by clicking on your ad than one of your competitors. But yeah, reviews plays a huge part in terms of from a conversion perspective and a click-through perspective. So yeah, depending where you're at, just always look at what your ad looks like or would look like relative to the competitors that are already in those ad positions that you're aiming to go for.
And your listing. If your listing is optimized and you think you can take on your competitor, that's another way of just weighing it a little differently.
Okay. And we got one more, and then I think we're going to have to start wrapping it up after this.
Okay.
But from Dr. Kaz, any idea how to delete old campaigns in the campaign manager list? It's an eyesore.
So when you say old campaigns, are they paused or are they archived? If you never intend to use them again, then archive them. And then there's a filter just above the table on the left-hand side. You can change it to filter it by active status. So if you only want to see the campaigns that are active, you can just select enabled, and that'll just hide all of the paused and all of the archived campaigns. In the same way, you can use that same active status filter to show any campaigns that are only paused or only archived. You can't ever get rid of them, but you can just use that filter to hide all of the stuff that's not active currently.
Okay. I got something along those lines. So I've heard that you should never pause a campaign. So you could there's two ways: either pause the campaign or get rid of the campaign, archive it. Then I've heard the other side that says never pause it, play with the bids. Like you can lower the bids, or you can make it where it really becomes inactive. But the reason for it is that if you ever do want to turn it back on, it'll cost and it'll be harder for you to get it going again. What are your thoughts?
Historically,
you're the tiebreaker, by the way.
Historically, I would agree.
Yeah,
I think from not just from a campaign point of view, from an ad group point of view, a keyword point of view, I never used to archive or pause anything. It was just lower the bids to a point where it essentially switches it off. And it used, the logic there was that it sends the wrong signal to Amazon, right? To the algorithm. You're switching this off. You're saying you're not relevant for this anymore. I think Amazon's got a lot smarter over the years, and particularly this last 12 months. There's been a lot of changes, and even in terms of changing campaigns. It used to be a keyword at the same bid would perform completely different from one campaign to another. There was a lot of strategies around it, and we used to do it a couple of years back, moving keywords from one campaign to another campaign that had a specific purpose. But now it's not as, it doesn't have the same impact, right? I think now you can kill a campaign without, we do it all the time, right? We have a spring clean and a clear out, and if a keyword's not working, and we'll pause it, we'll archive stuff, we'll just get rid, and it doesn't seem to have the same effect that it used to, the same negative effect it used to. And you can start a new campaign now, and within hours be getting data and making sales, right? That wouldn't be possible if everything else we'd done over the last year, all the archiving and pausing and getting rid of stuff, would have essentially switched all that off. And we don't find that now, so I don't think it's that big a deal. We talk to people all the time. They're like, "Oh, I've got all these campaigns; they're a right mess. I need a cleaner, better structure, but I don't want to lose my campaign history." Absolutely, if you can use an existing campaign shell that's got some aged history as well as recent history, absolutely use it. But if it's an old shell from 3 years ago that you haven't done anything with for the last 2 years, there's literally no value in it anymore. It's gone. So don't worry about getting rid of stuff. It will cost you more, however, just to go back to your second point there about it gets more expensive.
Yeah. If
you were to turn a campaign off that was performing really well, and for whatever reason you switched it off for a month or two, I don't know, so you run out of inventory, it will cost you more for those same keywords, for those same ad positions. And I think it's almost like a bit of a, like Google's sandbox, like a bit of a penalty almost for running out of inventory. I think inventory is playing a bigger and bigger part now in the ranking algorithm, not just for organic rank, but for ad rank as well. So if you don't have that recent sales history, you're looking back at a further look back window, and your competitors have been selling, while your ads have been paused or switched off. They've got recent sales history, right? And recent sales history is going to always outweigh historic sales history. It's going to hold more value. So essentially, what ends up happening is, to get the same position in the auction, you have to bid more. When you're current and you're well optimized, you've got a high click-through rate, so you're highly relevant. You've got a high conversion rate. Amazon loves that, right? But that's what they want to. They know that what the ad that they're showing to the shopper is exactly what the shopper's looking for, because it's converting and making sales, and that's what Amazon wants. So they're going to keep rewarding that seller more than they're going to reward someone who's not been advertising for the last three weeks, 3 months, whatever that is. So you're just going to pay more essentially for the same ad position. Over time, you'll start to build up that authority again, and you can start to get those same ad positions, those a lower cost per click. Your cost per click will start to come down to a point. But yeah, it will be more expensive if you try and reignite an old campaign.
Okay, I just noticed Simon joined us as well, so he's a regular on the call. Welcome. And yes, I know the feeling.
Soggy Somerset.
Soggy Somerset. Well, soggy Innisfil here. But anyway, hey, Simon, welcome back. And everybody, Yarrow and Simon and Nathan and Dr. Cause. And if I missed anybody, just, hey, welcome and thank you for being part of the community. If one of the things I want to ask the community is we're trying to at least touch on PPC once a month. If there's any topic, if there's anything that you want us to walk through step by step, let us know. If there's anything that you want us to publish in the group, step by step, SOPs, let us know, because we can, either publish articles or put the SOPs into the group to help you guys out. So just let us know anytime and we'll do that. So Darrell, I know it's time. I think I even went over time and I know you have to go. But look, how do we get a hold of you? As he freezes.
Sorry. Yeah, so I'm not a social media spotlight type person, but yeah, email is probably the best way to get hold of us, either through the website at sponsorprofit.com or Darrell at sponsorprofit.com.
Okay, very good. So here's the thing. So first of all, thank you for being on. The second part to this is not today, not tomorrow, but we're working out a bonus for the agency part and for Sponsor Profit, which is a $97 a month tool, which is going to be in the group. So if you head over to the group, there's going to be bonuses there that you can take advantage of. Should be published in about a week. But here's what we're doing today. Darrell is offering a half hour, 30 minutes of free consultation. And if you have not heard of Darrell before, great, because Darrell doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He wants to be back there working on data, working on what works. So here's the deal. Just like last time, first person to respond, I want Darrell, gets him for a half hour, 30-minute consultation to help you out with your PPC.
All right. And I know Darrell's still in the studio, but Darrell, if you need to go, just you can head on out.
Just go and we'll let you know.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming on, Darrell. Yeah. So is it I want Darrell? So,
I want Darrell. That's
okay,
it. Okay. We'll so anyways, let me see. Okay, so I think that's probably it for today's show, Kels. Why don't we just get right into it?
Okay, so first of all, yeah, we're going to be starting to do, before I do that, it looks like we got a winner.
All right, Nathan.
Nathan gets the 30-minute consultation. I don't know the best place for you here, Nathan. I'm going to put my email in. It's just k@lunchwithnorm.com. You can go email me and I'll link you up with Darrell and we'll get that consultation going.
I think you're gonna love it, Nathan. This guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, and anyone else, if you just want to say hi to me, if you want something from the show, you can always reach me at k@lunchwithnorm.com. But yes,
he doesn't answer my emails.
Yeah, I junk mail, So our Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and eCommerce Collective, we're starting to build a community. We want you to join. So if it's something you're interested in, please join. We're even looking for moderators right now. So I know we got Nathan, Simon, Yarrow, Dr. Cause, everyone. We see you here every single day. Or every single time we do the podcast. So if it's something you're interested in and you want to be a moderator in a group, you can email me and we'll talk and we'll figure something out. But yeah, I think it'd be really cool. I'm gonna get some of you guys involved because we don't want to just listen to us talk. But yeah, is there anything else?
I think
Subscribe.
that's probably it. Other than, yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say before I lost my
You
train of
rudely
thought.
interrupted.
Just,
No, go ahead.
There's something. Okay, go on.
All that for that. Okay, so hey, look, we've got the newsletter. We talk about it all the time. Just head over to either normanfarrar.com or you can go over to Lunch with Norm and you can subscribe. And the newsletter, Kelsey, what does it not do?
It does not suck.
Very good. It does not suck. It's got tons of content in it. Every Monday it's published, and you're not going to be seeing it loaded with ads or anything like that. We're distributing content to help make you a better online seller. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the podcast today. Who's our next guest? Who's Friday?
Amy Weiss, actually.
That's going to be it. I can't wait. That'll be very interesting. So tune in on Friday and listen to Amy. She's great. I've been on her podcast a couple of times, and yeah, she's incredible. So Amy will be in on Friday. Other than that, I hope you have a good day. And it's going to get colder too. So, oh man. Hey, Kelsey, by the way, next time you get me merch, get me a black hoodie with Lunch with Norm, because it's cold in here right now.
We'll get you a parka.
A parka.
Yeah. Or maybe one of those toques with like the fake beards. We'll start. I mean, you don't need it, obviously.
A toque
but
with a fake beard.
Yeah.
Look at
for me, maybe.
Anyways.
I remember what I was going to say. So as the past two podcasts, we've started giving out little giveaways, like the free press release for Shane Oglow, and the free consultation today. So this is something that we're going to start, throwing in once in a while. It might be at the end of the podcast. It might be in the middle. It might be the beginning. Who knows? So you have to be watching live to get these free little gifts. But yeah, just if you tune in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 o'clock, watch the episode. Maybe we'll get something fun from it.
Yeah,
but,
some of these things too, like those press releases, if you go to prreach.com, you'll see they're, if they're written for you, they're over $200 each. So we gave away 3 of them last episode. And then even with Darrell, his time is worth a ton. So these aren't cheap giveaways. Anyways, that's it.
That's it.
Now we can do this. Now I can do it, right? You're not going to.
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead. Floor is yours.
You did it again. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being part of the community, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Lunch with Norm.